So with this JP update, what I do want to talk about is the upcoming 1.5 anniversary, as this is going to be what I would definitely define as the most, I guess you could say, important update of all time. The reason is because of how quick power creep has accelerated in terms of the content. And while there are a lot of good units that you could use for it, it's a lot of niche units. For example, Blue Miwa is great, but who has Blue Miwa? For example, Green Saki is great. I don't have Green Saki. For example, I mean, is there something for red? I mean, most people have Yuta. So like you should be fine, but at the same time, to really clear it, you need Yuta dupe 5. And then for yellow, Mecha Maru dupe 5 helped me clear. Junpei helps you clear, right? A bunch of these more niche units. Shoko still needs to be like dupe 1 to really like make sure it's like easy, but dupe 0 does work. Zonji for certain floors does need dupe 1, right? Tinjo, a lot of people are on record saying he needs dupe 1 to even function. So we are reaching kind of a crossroads to where we need a power creep, and I want to talk about the units that could best help us, and also what we should be getting for 1.5 anniversary, just logically in terms of color, role, and also the character themselves, also with the help of what should be a Shibuya update. Now, the stream for Shibuya, this Shibuya update, should be, I would say, the update's the 21st, right? It is the 21st. What's very interesting is this it stops 3 days before. So there's probably going to be another banner in between, but it doesn't really matter if we're being honest. I just want to show the Hafani confirmation. So it's on the 21st. I will be streaming that, of course. 21st. Wait, 21st? All right, well, bro, I literally have an exam that day. That is crazy. What the fuck? Okay, I'll see how I handle that. We'll see how I handle that. Fucking hell, of course. So, let's talk about it. Of course, we all know that tower power creep. Jesus, that part of the OST is crazy. We all know that the tower power creep has gotten crazy. Now, one of the main reasons for power creep is two things. Number one was the extremely high HP upscale to where now you're seeing upwards of, I think, 68 million HP, maybe 70 million. And they either nerf support or debuff. So supports for 71 to 80 are nerfed by 60%, right? So that means a 100% buff would be 40%. And then debuffs from 65 to 69, I think, are nerfed by 65%. So Domain Gojo's 300% is now 100%. So the values are nerfed and the HP's way higher. And they also made it that you have to clear by turn 30. No, I'm not pulling that out of my ass. After 30 turns, they power up. And I actually passed turn 30. On floor 65 and I won, but my Inumaki took 650,000 damage. Yes, we don't even pass 100,000 HP, but he took that much damage because it's a 3,000% stat boost. So you gotta clear by 30 turns or else you're fucked. So now let's get into it. What do we need? As of right now, red is the most stable color alongside yellow. These are the two that really are the best. However, red is missing a bit, and what are they missing? A DPS. So it's now been a whole year since we've gotten a premium main DPS. Domain Gojo is a great sub DPS, and that's good and all. The problem is the DPS that we have to use right now to clear floor 80, they have to be dupe 5, right? You need, I'm pretty sure it only clears for floor 80 was with the dupe 5 Yuta, but it could have been a dupe 2, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Now, you can't run Toji, so it's literally relegated to only running, well, Nobara to dupe 5, but a Yuta, right? So I would say we do need a new red. We do need a new red, okay? A new red DPS is on my radar because Mei sucks ass, okay? Especially for that content. It doesn't work. You need an AoE DPS, and Nobara, especially when she's max duped, is just going to work out better than Mei, unfortunately, especially for this type of content, guaranteed, right? So it's like if Yuta, which came out in 2023, by the way, 2023, we're definitely going to need to fill this slot up. Now, what we do got to talk about is what are we stopping at? We are stopping at episode 37. Now, with episode 37, there are like about 4 main characters that I would kind of consider, okay? Now, honestly, surprisingly enough, my top pick is pretty much a Megumi. Now, it's the Megumi fighting Baldi. I forgot his name. It's the one that fights Baldi. And we're past that point, right? We're stopping. The next story update for Half Annie is going to include the Choso versus Yuji fight. Now, what we also have to consider with that is when Mei came out, she was also brought out when she was shown in story. So just keep that in mind. Anything up to Choso is free reign. So I could see a Megumi. Now, the main reason, there's actually many things that are going into my opinion of this. Number one, for floor 80, you need to use Jujutsu units as there's a 90% Taijutsu damage reduction that Toji cannot get through. So who would fit red perfectly for that? Well, yellow, we have Megumi. Green, we have Megumi. Blue, we have Megumi. Wait, we're missing a red Megumi. So I could easily see a red Megumi. That is my personal thought. Top pick for red. If we're getting a red DPS, I want it to be a red Megumi. What's crazy is this guy is more of a sub DPS. This guy is the sub DPS. And this guy is a support. So I'm waiting for our really broken Megumi. And if we're having 3 units in the 1.5 anniversary, which we probably will, they have 1 unit in April, which usually every single month of 2025 from January to March has had 3. 2. But then April had 1, which leads me to believe that they're increasing the amount that we're going to get but for units for Half Annie by 1, bringing it from 2 to 3 is my personal logic behind it. So Megumi is my top pick for red. Now, why else is he my top pick? Well, I would say Choso. The problem with Choso, I want to get to his page. No. The problem with Choso is that he's... Hold on, man. Yeah, here we go. So Choso is not fully Jujutsu, right? So that's the main thing, is that he's not fully Jujutsu. I forgot where it said it, but he has very high physical prowess, right? So that's one of the main things. Now, he can be like a mix. Now, mixes are not the best, but because of his very high physical prowess, I'm inclined to say he might not be full Jujutsu, but it is possible they easily make him full Jujutsu. It's just, I'm not sure what they're going to take in terms of like how they're going to make him work. So that's my main thing as to saying that it's possible that he is full Jujutsu, but I also believe that there is a possibility he isn't. And because of that, because we need a red Jujutsu, I'm inclined to believe it's going to be Megumi and not Choso. Now, my other picks were Toji. Now, why Toji? He was shown in story. He was literally like fucking the cover man for the last chapter. So I definitely think Toji could make sense. Obviously, Choso, I just yapped about him. And then finally, I could see Toji. Now the thing is with Toji is I would want him to be yellow to support Zonji, be like a Black Flash supporting unit. And the problem is we do not need a yellow unit. So I think Toto is probably going to be more of a filler unit, if anything, that's just going to work well with Zonji, is my guess, or release during, I don't even know, like probably just going to release not during an anniversary and still be good. But that does leave Choso, Toji, Megumi. Now the biggest problem with this 3 is there's no supports. And I think that's fine. Let me know what you think, because yellow's fine for supports. Blue does need like a good buffer. That is one thing I will say, but they have Sukuna. Like Sukuna, blue is not getting touched during this anniversary. Now for green, like there's not a buffer besides SR Momo, right? And that is a bit of a problem. So I'm not sure how that's going to be dealt with. But I don't see that being like a main topic of this anniversary, for the main reason that what we need now is like good, like really good DPSs. Okay, that's kind of my thoughts. Now for green, personally, we have red, right? Blue is safe. Now for green, it's either going to be Choso or Toji. That's my main thing. I don't know which, and the main problem is because yellow, like, are they going to give yellow another anniversary DPS? Like, I know they did it 2 times in a row, but again, like, I could see it because the yellow floors are very fucking difficult, but will they do it? So my thing is, if we're getting the yellow DPS, if we are, then I could see it being Choso. The main reason is because we have a Jujutsu, we have a Taijutsu, and we don't have a mixed. Maybe we could get a mixed. But if not, I could see it being Choso. Choso or Toji. Like, I think they're interchangeable between green and yellow if we do get these two. Now, the problem with Toji for green is that there's a stage that's Taijutsu damage reduction, right? And unless this boy pulls out some like fucking Jujutsu or like some Mahito type of shit, it's gonna be kind of difficult for him to really do damage in those floors, because he won't be doing damage. So it does make me a bit like interested. Maybe we're getting a green supporter, right? Maybe we're not getting Toji, right? Or maybe we're not getting Megumi. Maybe we're not getting one of these three, and in fact green is getting a support, because green getting a buffer would high key make green so much better, right? So much better. So I could see a green Toto. Imagine green Toto could be crazy with green Itadori. That would be an insane combo. So I'm just keeping the option for green Toto up, but I'm still saying green Toji could work, but I'm not sure. Like, green is up in the air. I feel like yellow is probably what Choso would be, because blue, they're not getting touched. I don't think they're getting touched. Now, something else to consider is we will be getting SP buffs during this anniversary. The main thing that we could kind of see is every 1.5 months we get SP buffs, right? So, well, basically 1 to 2 months. So we got SP buffs January 20th, and then a month and a half later, we got SP buffs end of March. So a month and a half later would be mid-May, right? It would in fact be mid-May, and that lines up with anniversary, right? And then that also does mean that we could probably see units being buffed like Blue Gojo, like Blue Momo, right? For green, I don't really know who would be buffed. I mean, if they buff a green Ghetto, that could be insane. Like, there's a lot of things they could do, right? So keep that in mind, that anything they don't do with the new units, like, they could easily not do a blue unit but then buff Blue Gojo. That's a big thing that I personally do see happening. But my thoughts for right now is basically a red Megumi, right? I could say, yeah, I think I'm going more towards the green Choso, because if it's green Toji, there are some floors he won't really work in. And then for yellow, probably Toji. That would be my guess. I just don't see them touching blue. I do see that the other categories need some help. Like, Zonji's great. It's just like, when you have to also get him dupe 1 to really make it easy or even make him work, I feel like we've almost lost the plot, right? That's the main thing. Like, something about yellow with the DPS, I could see them improving, but if they don't, then I could see us getting like, just, I hope not a support. There's too many supports, so I'm like, I don't know, like maybe a universal yellow or blue, probably blue support, like buffer support. We'll see. I think green and red are getting DPSs. These are the two that need DPSs the most. Yellow's in the best spot, but blue has the best DPS, right? So that's kind of my thoughts right now. Red, green, 99% getting a DPS. Yellow, blue, up in the air. I could see them getting some Domain Gojo level buffer, a buffer instead of a supporter, because we have enough debuff, a buffer instead of a debuffer. So that's my thoughts. For a debuffer, who do you think? Because right now I'm not really sure who the fuck would be a debuffer. Could you say Toji? Like, would they make Toji a debuffer? Or, and also, would that fly? That's the main thing. Because, like, I don't think they would. That's the main thing. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. Red DPS Megumi, probably a green DPS Choso. And then besides that, like, yellow, blue, I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see. We'll see. I'm expecting the best buffs, in my opinion, would be Blue Momo, Blue Gojo, and then Red Yuji. If they buff those three minimum, but then maybe go for more. Hey, if you go for more, buff like give Yellow Inumaki buffs, okay? Who else? You could also give Green Maki buffs. I would fucking love that. And then we're chilling, right? We're chilling after that. So that's gonna be it. Let me know, what are your first anniversary or 1.5 anniversary thoughts? I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.